Coming up today, how to replace a kitchen faucet without removing the sink. Hey everybody, this is Tool Dude Tony. I'd like to welcome you to this episode of How to Fix Shit 101. On today's episode, we're going to replace this old leaky faucet with this brand new faucet from Moen. It's a Moen, the Lindsay model, and it comes with a sprayer attachment, and then of course the faucet itself, and mounts up fairly easily with just a couple of bolts. So this should be an easy assembly. Changing out a faucet isn't that big of a deal. You can do it yourself with just a few hand tools. Here's the tools that we're going to need today. I've got a shop light. This is an LED version by Sears. It's got 30 lights. This is my Rigid Faucet and Sink installer tool. Just a simple crescent wrench, the Teflon tape, a channel lock wrench, or maybe a second crescent wrench. And a lot of these faucet installations are also done with just a plain old flat-headed screwdriver, or maybe a Phillips screwdriver. That's it. Okay, let's get started. The first thing we want to do is to shut off the water. This particular kitchen setup has a few shut-off valves, but I've tested them and one of them doesn't work. So we'll just go ahead and shut it off downstairs at the main valve. Now, in this house, the water shut-off valve is in the laundry room up by the ceiling. I'm standing on a chair and leaning on the washing machine to get to this thing. Wherever yours is, find it and shut it off. Otherwise you'll have a big wet mess. Now, run the water out of the lines by just turning the faucet on. Let that drain. Now we have to remove the old faucet. Unfortunately, the only way to do that is from underneath the sink, my favorite place. Locate your supply lines. There should be two lines that are heading up to that faucet itself, your old faucet. I'm just going to use a little wrench, a little crescent wrench, loosen this up. Once you have it loosened, take it the rest of the way by hand. Alright, putting in the new faucet looked fairly simple. Getting the old faucet out, well, you got to just figure out what kind's in here and then deal with it. This is the soap dispenser. Looks like it just has a nut on it. Should be able to unscrew that. And then these are the two lines that are coming down from the hot and cold side of the old faucet. Looks like I could have used my Rigid tool that I got from Home Depot to remove those little wing nuts. This is the soap dispenser. It has a nylon nut on it. I'm going to, looks like it's loose enough. I can just unscrew this by hand here. Okay, that's loose. This is a Home Depot's Rigid brand sink and basin tool. It's designed to remove any kind of faucet attachment from up inside the sink. Gives you that long arm ability to reach up in there and twist things and do stuff that you need. Okay, alright, so I'm going to use this Rigid tool to come up here and grab the bottom of that little nut that's holding it in place, that flange, and just get it started here. See how it's turning? Oh. Okay. Now let's use the Rigid tool with that nut attachment and see if we can get this thing loose. Okay, I'm just going to push it up there firmly. Oh, give it a twist, and oh, there it goes. Look at that. It's working. That is exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Oh. Okay, once it's loose enough that you can do it by hand, then let's just finish it off by hand. And that's free. Now I can continue to remove this nut. Okay, now that's loose also. Now I'll do the same thing on this other side, and I'll see you on the top. Alright, with everything disconnected underneath, we should be able to lift it out. We'll see how this is connected. Alright, this is the sprayer attachment. Again, once you've got it loosened, you can do it by hand. Okay. Lift it all out. Off we go. Now we'll clean up this mess here where the old faucet was. I'm going to go ahead and start with the sprayer attachment. This is just drops down through the hole. Has a foam gasket here that should stay on the top. Drop it in the hole, and then from underneath I'll just finger tighten this for now to get this thing started. Time to put in the new faucet. This is a sealer plate that fits on the bottom here. Let's go ahead and set it in place for now. Go ahead and shove these hoses down the middle. Followed up by the sprayer hose. Set that in place. Okay, now we got stuff just sitting here. We go back underneath, put it all together. Alright, so here we go. So I got to put basically this flat piece followed by that little round barrel and then the nut. Now I have an assistant up on the top side holding the faucet in place to make this whole thing go a little bit easier. So that's finger tight right now. You want to make sure that this little metal bar spans the hole and that it's pushing on both sides. Okay, now we'll do the same thing on the other side and then we'll tighten it down with a wrench. If you have a socket wrench, you could use that too. Okay, nice and tight. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and hook up this sprayer attachment. It uses one of those flange nuts with the kind of the X-wing adapter. It's a Starfighter. There we go. Should slip on real easily. Start it by hand. Bring it up. Now use our Rigid plumbing basin tool from Home Depot. And I do not work for Home Depot. Let's give this a nice little twist. Tighten it up. Ouch, good enough. All right, assistant, would you go ahead and shove that hose down that hole there? All right, thank you. That's good. Now we're gonna go ahead and attach the sprayer hose to the hose that's coming out of the faucet itself. Push it together, and then there's this little toggle that locks it in place. Now to reattach the supply line to this fitting here on this pipe, I'm going to use this Teflon tape, wrap it around this threaded section here to make sure that it doesn't leak once we get it the water turned back on again. So let's go ahead and put this in place, wrap it around the threads, try and keep it from getting too mushed up. Make sure it goes all the way around like that, and then actually I ran it the wrong way. Okay, and then tighten it up. Again by hand, bring it down as far as you can, and then use your crescent wrench or whatever wrench you're using to tighten it up the rest of the way. Get it pretty tight, don't over muscle it. That should be good. Now we'll do the same thing with the other side. Once you have the supply lines reattached, turn the water back on and check it for leaks. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Well, and that's how you replace a kitchen faucet without removing the sink. Well, this was a fun project, except for the little pain in my back from being underneath the sink. But hey, I like this. This was fun. Hey, and if you liked it, I'd appreciate it if you maybe press that like button down there and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And remember, if you're not fixing it yourself, you're paying somebody else to fix it. So get out there and fix something. This has been Tool Dude Tony. Thank you for watching my videos. Take care. Tool Dude, out of here.